everybody. Today I'm going to film you some floor work that we can actually improve with using the wall. Okay, so most of us got very tight legs or hips, so that provide stops up us doing proper folds, or you got to look after your knees. Maybe you get a little knees sore when you're doing certain poses when we are doing the full class. So if you take your time and enjoy the little details in the yoga, and you can learn how to correct yourself so that you can actually improve much quicker. So I'm going to try to be as helpful to you as possible, explaining as much detail as I can. So use the video so you can stop and start, and if you feel like some of the positions are not good for you, you take those options that I'm going to give you, and or you need to work on some parts of your body more, and then you just hold it stretches for longer, because yoga is good like that, so you can increase the time you spend, or you do less if you don't have time. Okay, so I'm gonna start just like sitting against the wall, and this is the thing that most time you do the forward folds, we need to go extend through the spine, and it's very difficult for most of us. So you can use blocks, you can use cushions. Let me get the cushion here. So you can have cushions if you don't have blocks, so you can get your hips in the right position. So I'm showing you this, but I don't need the cushion, but I'm going to show you so what you can do with that. So you can bring your hips, so you're finding the tailbone and you're pushing against the wall. So I'm just going to pull that flower also, so there's no excuses, so you can see the wall like that. There you go. So you got the back and your tailbone pushing against, and you make yourself comfortable like sitting with easy pose here. Then you can just try to find your shoulders back and top of the head low. So this is your spine. So when your hips are pushing against the spine, your back is not there on the lower part. That's how it goes on the lower part. So when you tuck the tail, you feel like this. When you don't tuck the tail, you pull the shoulders and your tailbone against the wall, you can feel the spine nice and tall like that. Okay? So this is a very awkward position. You can see that you feel like your neck is not in your right place. But it's kind of nice, just pull the chin down and elongate the neck and feel the back of the head. So you wouldn't be doing this when you were walking around. Obviously it's not how you walk around. But I want you to just get that head depressed and tuck the chin in, push the shoulders more. And you're trying to find the core muscles. And then from here, we're just going to try to fold forwards, but keeping this position we created. So you're feeling your stomach muscles and extending. And you don't go with the head forwards, you don't go with the shoulders forwards. You're going to keep that frame of the back as you come tilt forwards from the hips. So your stomach is pulling, your small of the back keeping the curve, your chest is up still, and your head is elongated, and that the diagonal line of the spine, and you can come there. So this is hard to maintain. Even now, this far, I'm feeling my lower back. So if I don't engage my core and my back is sore, it's not good. So you're feeling the back hurt you. So you have to be mindful of not hurting the spine. So you can get something in front of you. It could be cushion, it doesn't have to be blocks. You can get support. So when you go down, you can support your back a bit more and shoulders back and elongate. So at this point, my seat bones are pressing down. They are not coming up. So I'm going to engage and push onto the wall more, you see. So the wall can help me push my hips. Then I can try to get my shoulders back and elongate. So this is what you do with the wall. So you're going to push against it again, use your core, push against it, and you lift your spine. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And you don't have to talk, so you can concentrate on maybe ujjayi breath, breathing in, breathing out, extending the spine, breathing in, breathing out, push your hips more, and then come down and down and down. This is it. Ideally, you're going to the floor, but most of us can't. So I'm showing you the progression. So if you've gone this far, and you can't go any further, and you're like gonna relax, so you can bring your head, and then you can relax here. Then you push your tail against the wall and elongate the top of the head.
or the forward folds that you see me do. If you follow my videos here, you'll see my back always touching my legs, right? It doesn't happen initially. It took a long time getting here. Okay, so once you get the full fold, you can round your shoulders a bit, but try to get that spine to extend. So I'm trying to activate my hips. I'm trying to activate my core, and I'm trying to elongate my spine. So now the breath here goes inhale into my belly, into my rib cage, and then exhale out of belly, out of the rib cage. So inhale again, and exhale again. Then already my body wants to go further down, so I take my block out. Yeah, maybe go on this side. So already, because I did the breath and I persevered and I just went lower. So inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. So you see me going down and down and down. Yes, then I go slower. So I'm going to stop here just to kind of talk to you again what you're feeling. And if you're doing the position with me, you just have to like keep feeling comfort and keep pushing the hips. I don't actually feel much of the wall on my hips. Yeah, I feel my muscles activate. Just using the wall as a push point to activate my hips, my core muscles. Then I can activate my shoulder blades and think about top of my head, and then I go further down, right? And then you're feeling full stretch at the moment, and my hips, because my legs are crossed. And I'm gonna gently come back up, but you can also use it. So I did this side in the front, then you should do the other side in the front, okay? Then I'm gonna quickly go there, so you can also try again. So you can go, inhale, and exhale. Inhale. And you're pushing the hip to the side, pushing your hips on the walls, and you can really feel the stretch. Inhale and exhale. If your knees hurting you, you can cushion your knees also. Again, putting cushions under the knees. Good. And you hold as long as you want. So you use the one side and the other side. Okay, but I'm just gonna quicken the side so that I can actually give you more exercises to do. You can stop the video and do the other side as long as you did on the one side. So think about the folds and the spinal position with the folds. This is what we are going through today, so we can get the legs out. So the Paschimottanasana pose. So everybody goes, in my own 22 years old teaching, everybody goes like that. And they tuck, and they want to catch the feet, and they're going like that, and they're here, they're tight. Okay? This is not a good pose. Nobody gets anything from here, because you might be feeling some stuff on hamstrings, but that's not ideal. The whole pose means you need to extend the spine, and you need to be able to go down the position that I've been trying to teach you just now. So if you go up against the wall, this is the stick pose, you can push the hips against the wall again, right? And you straighten the legs. And this is actually a lot of efforts on the legs. Yes, you should be feeling the front of the legs. And the toes pulling, your shoulders are back, breathing in and breathing out. And then we lift the arms up, right? So the arms are up here, but shoulders are not lifted. So you look to your toes and you reach the same way. So I did the second ago, we did arms down. So this is the full pose. So when you're going from the wall into extension here, it's a lot of effort on the spine. So if it's hurting your back, you just don't. You start from here, you go there, right? So it's up to you. So this is the easier option. So don't hurt your back. This is the harder option. But you're gonna try. So you just lock your legs, engage the top of the head until from the hips. And then go back there if it starts hurting you. So you can slowly activate your core, push your palms, engage the legs and breathe. And then we come back and activate again. The legs activate, your hips are pushing against the wall. You're lifting your chest and coming forwards. And one more time. So here. So most of you can't go any further from here if you're keeping the back straight as it is. So you need to bend your knees and bring them to you. So we want this chest to be resting on the knees. So if you can't go so far, you start here and you go there. And then you can relax and catch the feet. Then you can surround your neck and everything. So your belly's against the legs, okay? And then even if it's here, you're pulling your feet and you're stretching your heels. But your belly should be stuck to the legs and you're pushing your hips on the wall and breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. So slowly, 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 you'll be going down and you'll be in the full pose. And most of the time this doesn't happen. You can bring a cushion under your knees. That can actually be quite comforting. Then you can be here a long time. And every time you feel like your tail is tucking, you're going to pull the hips back. Push the hips, bones against the wall. Then it can feel the hamstrings insertions into your glutes there. So what you feel is total stretch in the back of the legs, but then the spine also. So you're relaxing your shoulders back and you can round them, it's okay, but you don't lift them up. And you're relaxing your neck, breathing in, activating the toes to the face so you can feel the leg stretch, breathing out. And then if it's too tiring, you relax your toes. You can keep the fold as much as you want. Again, you can bring a cushion here if you can't find the chest down, because it looks easy on me. I've practiced a long time. So if you can't find the chest on the legs and it's too tight to reach, you can bring a cushion here to go. And you can hold like that and then relax, okay? And then stretch, stretch, stretch. And you can hold up to 20 minutes. If you've got tight hamstrings and you want to get really good at it, you have to remember the full pose. This is it. So eventually you can go, lock the arms, bring your chin, and really work here. Shoulders down and round, and keep breathing in, keep activating the legs, and keep stretching there. Then you can lift up and look up, then you push the arms and come up, and then open. You can have a little break here, because if you're really in the stretch and you're constantly activating the legs, it's tiring and you will feel the back of your legs afterwards, which is good. But this is really good for your hamstrings and it's good for your spinal flexibility. So we're thinking about the spine here. And the same way, and very similar to all the forward folds, anything. If you did Jana Sirsasana, say for instance, you need to still come up and go there. So you can do one side, other side. It's also very good for the hamstrings. You can go from the hips and over. And if your knees hurting you, you can always cushion it here. And you can be in this pose, relaxing the shoulders and the neck. Okay? And then when you come up, you lift the arms and you come open the arms. Good. So those are the things you can do. I'm just going to try to give you pointers on different things. So you now know that all the forward folds like this. So even this one. We did the hips. We did the Paschimottanasana, and in also wide-legged forward fold, it's the same. So you're going to push your hips against the wall and reach forward, and you come down and relax the shoulders. I'll give you a few pointers here so you can keep pushing the hips. You can turn the legs around and push against the wall, but you can simply point your toes and flex your feet and maybe feel different parts. And eventually you'll just go reach as far as you can, and slowly you bring your body down to point. You can hold. And you can circle your feet here and you circle them the other way, keep pushing the hips, keep elongating the spine. And if you need a cushion under the chest, you can bring your cushion under your chest, or you can bring your head onto the block, which can be quite supportive. And you slowly try to bring the chest to the floor. You can turn your toes and flex your feet and get all different parts of the inner thighs activate for you there. Okay? So I'm just going to try to use the wall for the front of the thighs, so that's the back of the legs, and let's go to the front of the legs. So if you bend your knees here, so I got my cushion here ready already, because I don't like my knee being pressured. So what I do, get the cushion, let's do this leg actually, so that's the one closer to the camera, in the front. So I bring my blocks here, do you see? So I'm set up away from the wall, with the front leg there. So when you push the front of the foot there, and you can see your blocks are ready to support you. So this is such an intense stretch. So if it's too much, you just have to step away. And you start from there, and the more you lift the spine, the more you're going to feel. So what happens here, that doesn't happen maybe when you don't have the wall, you're really actually pushing your hips in the right direction.
they're facing forwards, you're clenching your bum, and you can now feel the hips open, your quadriceps activate, your toes are pointing the front of the foot, and you're breathing in and breathing out. So I'm on my knee here, so in the pigeon pose you would be on your knee as well, so you can prepare to go forwards like that, do you see? But it's so hard, so you don't have to go this deep. If you're not very flexible, then you can keep pushing down, and that will be your lock in the pigeon, and you're learning to get the hips to the front. Eventually you just take the hands off, which is going to be heavier and harder, and you can rest onto the foot with the hip here. But if it's harder for you, just step back. Do you see I use my arms to go back because it's so intense here? If you don't be careful, it can be damaging. You can rip a muscle, which you don't want to do. Deepen the breath, stretch. Then you can also open the chest and look up here if you want to add on. If you bring the arms back, try and bring the top of the head to the wall. I am struggling with my shoulders at the moment, so I'm very stiff on the neck and the shoulders. I haven't been stretching, so I can't really touch the wall, but eventually you'll find your head touching the wall, okay? So I'm just gonna gently come forwards. As you come out, just take the pressure off the leg. And then change wherever you came. You're gonna go with the other leg. And you must do both sides. So I'm starting on this position. That's where I started on the other side. And getting into it. So I feel my hip wanting to turn to the side. So I'm gonna use the wall so that our hips are square forwards and you got no rotation to the right. Okay, and you're clenching your bum, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Stay here. If you want to try the full pigeon pose on the hips down, you're trying to stay here, which is quite hard. And on this side of my spine is a little problematic, so I'm supporting my body with my arms. You must do the same. If your back is hurting, you don't go too deep, stay on the legs. Yeah, your back shouldn't hurt. Always your back is involved because you're in a vertical spine position here. You're locking through the hip. When you clench your bum, you feel the hip more. But if you don't clench your bum and you dislocate your hips too much, you will get in the tension in the back, which you don't want. You want to be in the muscle, okay? So we're not doing a contortion class, so we want to stretch the muscle. That's what we want. We want to align our bones so that we can actually get a full stretch in the length and all of the muscle. So breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Let's go back a bit more where we came. You can try to get the head to push. Don't go into this pose if your back is hurting you again. Don't separate your ribs so much. Engage your core. It's always safer. Then you can pull the arms back and head back. Always the advanced option will be arms over the head. I won't go into it today. Just think about the hips first. Then when you're coming out, gently come out. Don't put pressure on the back leg too much so that you don't get too much pain. And now I'm going to change the legs because it's quite hard to keep it on one leg. So I'm going to go into my deep lunge here. But this leg is going to go back a bit more. Do you see what happened now? So I'm like pushing my lower leg onto the wall. And I got this leg on the heel. Press down. Right, and I'm going to try to stretch my spine here. It's much, much deeper stretch because I'm close to the wall. So I can go here, yes, and I'm gonna push my hips forwards. It's a deep stretch in the quadriceps. If you want to go into splits, so you're gonna have to learn to stretch your leg and the hip. Now, when you go here, you're sitting on your hips more, but you're getting in the position where it's like much more intense than it might be if you're just on the floor. So look how deep I'm going. My knee's not hurting me. I'm not forcing it. So if anything is forced too far, don't push, yeah? So you can do a little less. So you can go a little bit more here. And you can lift the chest. So if you're working to open the chest, again, you can pull the shoulders back and arms head back. Again, I said shoulder injury. I'm not forcing my arms and shoulders to back. So there we go. I said this is preparation split. Now I'm gonna go back on the wall. You know the other side of the preparation split is the lifting the toe. Here, if I can keep myself a bit more up on the wall, right? Then I'm kind of leaning on, and I'm gonna push my hips back and come forwards.
So this can help you also to lock the leg, so you can get onto the front of the leg, and you're pushing on the back of the leg. Toes are up. Breathe. There you go. And then you need to try and hit your knee. I'm shaking now. So you might be not seeing that is like challenging for me. I can assure you I feel the muscle. No matter how flexible you get, if you lock the muscles in the right way, you will always feel the stretch. There's no way it's like being too flexible. You can always train the muscles. Whether you're hypermobile, whether you're too tight, you can find a way to lock. That's the science of it. You got to find the bone structure. You need to know how to lock, and then you can stretch. So your hips needs to push back to the wall, or your toes needs to pull up for you to feel the hamstrings, okay? And then relax now, bend the knee. So to come out, I'm gonna take my pressure off my back leg so my knee doesn't hurt, okay? Do the same. I must do the other side, so if I get here, you can start also like that, but it's kind of quite hard, so be careful. So you're going here, and then up. It's so much harder than it looks. So again, you're trying to keep the hip pushing forwards, shoulders back, breathing in, breathing out. Think about the spine and your breath, elevating the spine on the inhalation. Exhalation, you don't collapse the spine, you're really pulling the rib cage in. So I'm gonna come off this into the hips now. So showing you the options here. So you're on the quadriceps before, now you're on the hips. And you're fine and wait for the gravity to pull you down. Your body weight will take over and you'll feel the stretch, you don't have to do anything. But if you actively breathe and relax and concentrate on the mind, you can get all the benefits from yoga just through the breath. And things become, when it's painful, your mind starts wandering, you go back to your breath and just go back into internal. Then you can start feeling the muscle, pay attention, become mindful of what you're doing and enjoy it. And I'm gonna come back up again, an intense quadriceps stretch. Your knee shouldn't hurt, so it's cushion it more. If it's hurting, take the pressure off it. And you lengthen the front leg and you're trying to push this hip back to the wall. And you can bring the hands down. And this is it. This is an awesome hamstring stretch. Pull the toes up, relax your shoulders down. Try to keep the head pushing onto the wall. At the moment it's not touching. I'm just pushing towards it because of the other leg sitting underneath it, okay? Legs are starting to shake again. Breathing in and breathing out one more time. And then relax. Right, as you come up, be careful so you don't put extra pressure on your knees. And then I'm gonna go from here. You see how much you can do from bone position, right? There's tons you can do. But I'm gonna give you a different stretch also to go into the inner thighs. And you can see how you can use the whole different positions in yoga. So if you're practicing regularly, these little drills will make you more professional. Yes. So you're gonna go. Did you see? I got my knees supported. You can get cushioned with the pillows like this one, really soft. So you can put underneath each foot. And I'm gonna get my foot along the wall. So I'm gonna show you from here. So you can see my toes facing away. My knees directly underneath my heels. I'm going to get a cushion here. So you must also set up properly so you're not in too much pain. You see that this is not a very comfortable position. We go Mr. Frog first. Now you push the feet on the wall, okay? Then you push the tailbone back towards the wall. And again, all that spinal alignment cues apply. And at the moment, I'm not doing much, and I can feel my groin, yes. And then I push the hips back and push my feet on the wall, and I push all the muscles in the position, and I'm already in it. So I can try to get on the floor to relax, but my pressure on my legs, pushing. I don't go forwards with my hips. They need to push back, yeah? So if you want to get yourself comfortable cushions, and maybe not this low, maybe you can get 2, 3 on top of each other and lie, and you can hold here a long time. Push your heels on the wall when you're not feeling the muscles. You push, press the heels on the wall. Think about your breath, and exhale, and inhale. Push the heels, push the heels, push the heels, activate, and then relax, and then let the stretch take place. My knees started to open wider, okay? So I'm going further and further down. So now I'm gonna do C, so I'm getting closer to the wall. So I am so much pushing on my feet, and this is really, really painful now. So I'm gonna stop pushing. I said, and I need to bring my feet under me to come back. And then you can use your arms to get out of it, because be careful there, you don't want to overstretch your groin. And now I'm going to push my heels there and get into my baby child's pose. So I'm just pushing my heels again against the wall, relaxing my head, forehead down, so that letting my body to recover, because that was really intense for me. Okay, now staying on the feet. Other parts of our body is the toes. They